Welcome back to the Marketing Mixtape podcast, hosted by me, Brittany Winfield of the Winfield Creative. Be sure to like and subscribe so that way we can find more viewers just like you. And if you have any burning marketing questions, you can submit them at speakpipe.com/marketingmixtape. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in to Neurodiversity in the Digital Space, featuring Alicia Collazo. Let's go!
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. It's so good to see you. Why don't you start by introducing yourself and giving everybody just a little bit of an idea of what you do and who you help?
Yeah, sure. My name is Alicia. I live in Houston, Texas. I'm a social media manager, content creator, pretty much a little bit of everything, teacher, everything. I handle the social media side for my clients and just help them build a strategy, help them learn how to use their platforms better and how to stay consistent in their content creation and just their social media growth. So that's where I focus. But on the other hand, I'm also a neurodivergent individual. I have autism as well as ADHD. And so I kind of, my niche is I lean towards those who are neurodivergent in the business space and helping them to get good routines and good consistency that works with them. Because I don't know if you're familiar with neurodivergency, but like our brains work a little bit different. We're wired a little different.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to do processes that fit our how we think and how we work. So yeah, it's a little bit of what I do. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you have such an incredible ability to take what you experience on a day-to-day level and really help business owners get structure and efficiency. I don't talk about this ever on my platforms. I don't think like even my closest people really know this, but I also, on more of a mild side, have neurodivergent tendencies.
Yeah.
I do and was born with APD, which if folks are not familiar, it's auditory processing disorder. So just really getting into the habit of choosing different areas and environments that work best for my learning. It was more prevalent when I was in school, but it does pop up when the business is happening. So yeah, I'm glad we're having this conversation about neurodiversity in the digital space because it is so important, not just for, the social media world, but also with website design and folks that really experience neurodiversity on a spectrum. What does that look like for the clients that you serve? Like how does that conversation start, and what are some ways that you help your clients really streamline some of their efficiencies and processes?
Yeah, I will say that when you become a business owner, especially like you had mentioned, like in school, you had processes to help you be more accessible in school and everything. But then once we become adults, it kind of just like fizzles out and you kind of forget that you need to do the same in your adult life and in your business life and in your social media life.
Yeah.
So I do focus on that because a lot of the times when you go fresh into trying to market your business on social media, you tend to feel like I got to be like everybody else, but you're not like everybody else. So I really try to help my clients like find the strategy and the routine that works for them so they're not burning out after like a month of like content creation and everything like that. Like that's the goal. We don't want to burn out. We want to keep going at our own pace. So that's what I really focus on.
Love that. Yeah, there are different modalities and tools that I also teach in my learnings. Just the other day, I was having a conversation with somebody and I was complaining about Instagram and like how small the section is to write the caption.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Because as somebody who struggles severely with spelling and, not being able to really, like, I have to read my captions over and over and over again, and I still get it wrong like half the time.
Me too.
Like, can Instagram have more, ways for us to really shine and So in your experience being a social media manager, what are some changes that you would hope to see on the platforms that we use that could be beneficial to folks with neurodiversity?
I think it's things like you had mentioned, like little things like maybe spell check in the captions area. I think one thing that has really helped me in my own content creation and social media strategy for my business is ChatGPT. So, and we're seeing that pop up a lot more AI assistants on different platforms. So I feel like, and I'm pretty sure they're going to get towards that. They're already talking about adding AI into Instagram and stuff. I think that's a great tool, especially for neurodivergent business owners, because it will really help them like get really fine tune the content that they're creating, and so that they can get their point across. Because I know with me, like ChatGPT helps me really like bring out what I really wanted to say without it sounding garbled or words missing here and there.
It's one of the things that I have a ChatGPT course and I've just been like playing with it. Like I didn't even know until I really got into it that you can plug in like a full paragraph that is totally misspelled and all that and like tell it to become an editor and like literally using the prompt, pretend you're an editor, fix this for me. And it's a miracle worker.
It is,
I'm just blown away by how far different tools for folks, even without even just the word itself is hard for me to pronounce, neurodivergent people. There are so many tools that exist out there. So being aware of what is available to you and whether you're on a neurodivergent spectrum. This is going to be a really hard word for me. Just fair warning to everybody listening. That's part of APD though, so so you're getting a real life case of it. There's so many tools. So what type of tools do you recommend to some of your clients that really need help with keeping their time management? Because as business owners, it is so crucial.
And that's the one thing that I struggle with too, is that, and because I struggle with time management, I'm like hyper aware of it, and then it leads to anxiety and all that stuff. But for me, I was even thinking about it the other day. I'm like, what are some of the apps that I use that help me stay like consistent and help me stay on track? And I think like one of the biggest one is obviously ChatGPT. I use that literally for everything. Like the other day, I've used it to make a recipe.
Oh, wow.
I was like, show me how to make this recipe, and it just gave me the whole recipe. It's amazing. Wow. So I use ChatGPT literally almost every day, but I also use other apps to help me stay consistent. Like I use Metricool. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That's it is a scheduling app. So a content calendar scheduling app. It helps to like, it has AI features in it, so it'll help you create your captions for you. You can post across all platforms, so you just do it all in one go. You could schedule them out for months in advance. So I use that. Like that's the first thing I've used since I started my business. It really helps also like understanding my analytics and my KPIs and everything like that, and see how I'm doing, where I need to adjust. So I would say the first thing for my clients, I always ask them to get onto a scheduling app like Metricool, so that they can like get themselves a clear picture of what their content calendar is going to look like, and posting schedule and everything like that. So that's the first one I talk about. And then there's other little ones like Notion is a great app for that as well. They've got apps like Honeybook to help you with like your clients, and Stan Store is like my favorite thing in the whole world. It literally almost does everything from if selling your digital products to scheduling clients and all these different things. So there's a few apps out there. I would say like the best thing to do is just look at your business and remember that you need to make it accessible to you. Just like if we had any kind of handicap, like if we couldn't walk or if we couldn't see or couldn't hear, we would make our life accessible so that we can be productive in our life. So the same thing with neurodivergency. use the tools to make your life accessible so you're not burning out and you're keeping productive like you want to.
I love that. Yeah. And keeping productive, I mean, that's my worst problem area. Being able to come up with a schedule is especially just for your own sake, and planning it the night ahead is one tip that it was a game changer for me when I went from this very structured corporate job where I was told what to do versus, hey, you now are setting your own goals. You are now, you have money goals, task goals to like attach to those money goals. You have to keep track of billing and bookkeeping. Like there's just so many things when you are a business owner besides the thing that you're providing, the service that you're providing, like social media management, social media mentoring, that it can very much be overwhelming. And not getting into a cycle that is, okay, I'm awake, I'm alive on this Monday, what do I do with my day?
Exactly. And that's one thing that I had to learn the hard way, is that I would look at other people on social media and everything like that, and I would say, well, I got to do what they're doing. And so I would tack this whole big schedule onto myself that I was not capable of keeping long term. And then I would just feel even worse. So what I tell my clients is to start small, set a goal of, like you said, on a certain day, you're getting these tasks done, and making that your routine, like do it every week. And then as you go and you get comfortable, you can build on a little bit, but just know your limits and start small is what I always tell everybody.
Yeah, that's a great point, because one of the pieces of content that have definitely shifted my perspective is I tend to go like, not imposter syndrome, but with folks that do have this like, get ready with me or say goodnight to me, and are going to bed at like 8:30 with like setting candles and stuff. I'm like, that's just not going to be me. Like,
me neither.
That's what I have to do in order to be successful. And so really separating yourself from, easier said than done, but if folks need to really put filters and blocks up for those bigger creators, that it's very much romanticizing the life of being an entrepreneur. But the reality is we're all living very different lives. We all come from very different starting points and are in very different pieces of our lives in our entrepreneurial life right now. So really meeting yourself where you're at and really connecting with people like you, Alicia, to get this, idea and clarity of where are you right now? What are some of your smaller goals that you can achieve this month, this week, and celebrating them.
And not being afraid to take a break or take a pause if you have to. Like, I just came out of a burnout myself because I, just put too much on my shoulders last month. And so I just allowed myself to just take a pause. I was still there working behind the scenes on my business, but I wasn't as active on social media. And you know what? That's okay. A lot of people need to know that that is totally fine. Your mental health is more important than you getting your content out every week.
Yes, exactly. And with both of us being in this digital landscape and this content creation, that's the beauty of scheduling posts ahead of time. That's the beauty of, you could just kind of set it and forget it for the most part. I mean, at least with the content that you're pushing out, and being able to really, meet yourself where you need to, because I don't know about you, but like on the days where I don't work on client work, when I'm just working, on the business, rather in the business, that's where the most inspiration comes from. I feel like some of the times when, I mean, not now because it's, very cold outside in Vermont, but going, in the summertime, I would just take half day pauses and be like, okay, let's go see what the mountains have for me. And a lot of this inspiration for content creation, you can find out in nature and then bring it back to the indoors when it's dark outside. So meeting yourself where you're at, like, you don't have to get up at 6 a.m. if you've never done that before. Like, work how you work best with these smaller changes, these smaller efficiencies that then build and have this ripple effect among the rest of the business.
Yeah, and like you had mentioned before, like when you meet yourself where you're at, you're more comfortable, and that's when it becomes a little bit more who you are. You put more of yourself in it. When you're trying to force it, it seems very fake, and you're not going to attract as much as when you're just comfortable on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Have you, as you were starting the business, who were some of your role models or coaches that really helped you throughout the way?
I would say there is quite a bit. One of them, her name is Abigail Pugh. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She's gotten a lot bigger. Um, I really like her way of marketing her business and the way that she does her content. It's very chill, it's very relaxed, and she just does what she wants to do, but also knows how to not spin it, but season it
Yeah,
for her audience.
I love that.
So she'll take something from her personal life, but then she will add the topic of the day for her audience. And I learned a lot from her. And there's quite a bit of others along the way, but she's the first one that comes to my mind.
Yeah, amazing. As a social media manager, what are some of your favorite clients to work with? Are those the folks that, are neurodivergent and you help them with your own experiences? What does that look like for you as a social media manager?
um, I've worked with all types. I've worked with I have a client who is neurodivergent as well as me, like me, but I also have clients who aren't. I would say that it doesn't really come down to whether you're neurodivergent or not. The kind of client I really love to work with are those who are open to learning.
Yeah.
Those who are like, I don't. They're honest with themselves and say, I don't know this side of my business. I'm ready to learn, and that's what I love. I love teaching. I love teaching them new things, teaching them how to use their platforms, new processes. So yeah, I would say those who are open to learn and yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And with like a safer, like psychologically safer learning environment, also this understanding of like it's about progress, not perfection. It's a process, it's a progression. So being okay if you are the business owner or the client with, we use these word mistakes, but I like to say like life lessons instead. What are some life lessons that you have learned being a business owner, that you would recommend, or you want the younger entrepreneurs listening to hear?
I'm so sorry, my phone like for
No,
some reason lost the sound, so I only got the last part of that
no,
question.
you're okay. We're talking about life lessons and it's about progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
What is like a piece of advice that you would say to a younger entrepreneur who wants to do some similar work in the digital field?
Yeah, I would definitely say everything that you see on social media, like all those get rich quick or get a million followers quick schemes, take those with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I tell new clients or new people that coming into this field is that you're going to see a lot of that, but the real way in order to grow on social media, to grow your business online, is just patience and consistency. That's the only way. And nothing in this world grows instantly.
Yeah.
You get a plant and you plant it from the seed. It's not going to grow in a month to this huge tree. It takes time, and it takes work for you to put the love and the energy into it in order that it stays healthy. Same thing with our businesses. It takes time.
Yeah.
So we just need to be patient and be willing to put the work in, and then we will see results, just not going to be when you want to see them usually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so surprising sometimes. I've gone viral, and by that I mean like it was like luck of the draw. Like it was just pure luck, and it was like so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like I don't recommend it to people. We're especially seeing this trend with influencers right now, especially on TikTok, that there's just such weight put on their shoulders where now that a lot of folks are, at the top of their platforms, millions and millions of followers in this, like they went viral and became really popular during the pandemic. And now that we're out of the pandemic and there's a lot of other societal things happening, it's like nobody wrote a playbook on how to be famous.
Right.
There is none. So yeah, even with business owners who do have growing platforms, yes, exactly. It takes time, and the grass is not always greener on the other side at all. It's, you better have a plan. There's no going back really once you hit that status.
Right.
So.
Yeah, there's no direction once you get up there.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, it's pretty amazing how we have seen this shift in the digital landscape. I do feel like there are a lot more accessibility tools to help folks out, but we're not fully there yet. So really seeing where these changes are going to be occurring in our digital landscape. I mean, you named just one of them, being the AI features coming to the Meta platforms.
Right.
How do you see business owners utilizing and leveraging some of those features in their content plan?
Well, with a lot of the changes that are coming, I feel like it will only help those who are honestly just trying to grow their small business and stay professional, but also have the tone of their brand, And I feel like Instagram is understanding that it needs to make that shift towards people like that, and it's only going to get better. I feel easier and better.
Yeah, that's good. Do you think it's going to change a lot of what we do as social media managers and mentors?
It might, but I feel like we're still going to be needed. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, with all the ChatGPT and AI coming out, it's so easy for anybody to really just pick this up and do it for themselves. And that's true, but with any type of service, sure, we could do it ourselves, but do we really want to do it ourselves?
Yeah.
Especially if you're juggling a business and then now you have to market yourself. There's two different beasts. Are you ready to take on those two beasts, or are you ready to hand delegate that over to somebody who that's their only focus? And I feel like we're always going to be needed in that aspect, because no one always wants to do juggle all the balls at once. So
Absolutely.
I feel like our job is still only going to get more needed, just because that's our focus.
Yeah, you nailed it right on the head, where they're usually the first two things somebody outsources is bookkeeping and marketing. And, as a social media mentor, like, I'm not going to lie, it is a little scary, but with strategy, that actually helps with the saving of time, of energy, of money. Like, no matter if you're hiring a social media manager or mentoring and still running your own platform, it's still a worthwhile investment, because just throwing wet noodles at a wall doesn't always stick,
Exactly.
Yeah. And when it does, that's where the virality and gets a little scary on that other side of the world. So
yeah, it does. And that's where burnout usually happens, because you're trying to do all the tasks as just one person. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I don't have any other interview questions for you. Is there any other pieces of advice or anything else you wanted to talk about in relation to neurodiversity in the digital space?
I think we covered quite a bit. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So as the last little piece here of the podcast, anything you want to promote or really let people know that you're working on, or anything like that?
Yeah, so I do have a few guides that that I sell, and one of them has to do with ChatGPT and how to utilize that as your own virtual assistant. So I do have that up on my Stan store in the link in my bio, and I have been focusing on the education part of my job. So I do have a package that has to do with teaching you about how to use your platform and how to optimize it and everything. It's my brand templates package. So if you want to check that out, it's all on my Stan store. So you can be curious and go check if you want to.
Awesome. I'll also link it down in the show notes down below.
Thanks.
So thank you so much, Alicia. I am so grateful. And just so folks know, social media is how you and I met.
Yeah.
So there's definitely power in it. And I thank you so much for jumping on this live with me today on this Monday afternoon. And I hope you have a great rest of your day today.
You too. I had a great time. It was so fun.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Marketing Mixtape Podcast featuring Alicia Collazo and hosted by me, Brittany Winfield of the Winfield Creative. Did you know that we record all of these podcast episodes live on Instagram? That's right, so you could be part of the conversation. All you have to do is find the Winfield Creative on Instagram to tune in on days that we record. Thank you again so much, and I'll see you next time.